I found Seventh Day Adventist cases very interesting. There are several among the Northamptonshire records. Certainly later on in the war, it seems to, the issues to do with Christadelphians had been sort of dealt with, and we know that Quakers had a fixed sort of route really through the different parts of the system. There seems to be continuing aggravation about Seventh Day Adventists. In this case, the military representative, Captain Cook, wrote to the Central Tribunal trying to sort of fire holes into the case of Fred Woods. In particular, I think he's making a general point that Seventh Day Adventists did not really seem to mind fighting. It was just fighting on their Sabbath that irritated them. So he's basically saying, does it make any difference if we send a Seventh Day Adventist into the NCC or into the fighting arm proper? And I think he's fishing really for a general ruling, and he doesn't. Neither he nor the tribunal particularly like Woods either. The Pierce Register tells me that Woods persisted with his resistance. He was court-martialed, imprisoned, but the Central Tribunal called him Class D and not a conscientious objector, which I think is pretty tough going, really. And he was still in prison in May 1919. Another one, almost harder, I think, is the case of Albert Wise. And when I looked at his case, I felt rather like the volunteer lady who I'd had the conversation with. I felt like saying, look, he's 18, for heaven's sake. You know, when one wants to try to rework these cases, he is 18. He's lost his father a few months before, and he is now the support of his mother in the small business, which is market gardening business, which his father ran. This is the local tribunal saying, look, we've been very generous to this boy. We gave him a few months exemption to try to sort out the business side of things and to help his mother you know, get over things. So they think they've been generous, and they make no comment on his conscientious objection. They just say he's appealed on conscientious grounds. The papers are interesting for Wise because they are scrawled over by people at the tribunal, you know, with exclamation marks and question marks, and what somebody sort of underlines the fact that he only joined the Seventh Day Adventist Church in July 1914, which is seen in some way as too late, really. I don't know how that cuts out in terms of the age at which people are expected to sign up. And to try to retrieve a disastrous conscientious objector questionnaire, which he really makes a mess of, and which is as the tribunal points out, he writes a long letter explaining that these are his own views and that he was being honest when he told the tribunal that somebody else had helped him to, you know, to articulate his views and to write them. And then he says, I can't join the NCC, I can't do this. Then he says, I don't tell lies. And then he goes over the work that he's doing and tries to talk it up as something valuable. So he is consistently rejected, and he is given he is conscripted. But I don't know what happens to him afterwards, because he actually doesn't make it into the Pierce Register. I think his case and that of Woods, the two Seventh Day Adventists, suggest a number of things. Irrespective of this being religion, they didn't like appellants if they made a weak case. You did have to have a good case and to be able to put it. And they didn't like young appellants for conscientious objection. We've heard that saying, you're too young to have a conscience. I don't believe that was ever said in the Northamptonshire Appeal Tribunal, but I think it summarises the view that they take.